Yeah, Sarah Super said yeah, shit, nigga. Like damn Mozambique, only 2 to 4 thousand fucking slaves. Are you fucking kidding me? During the 16th century, I think period, but definitely, no less than at least during the 16th century. I'm just thinking about the Caribbeans alone, just during the time when Vincent Oge was alive, just in the fucking 18th century, for example. I'm thinking about they ass, nigga. They had about like 350 to 550,000 fucking slaves. You know what I'm saying? At least well over 300,000 fucking slaves. Going back to Mozambique, just in the 16th century, nigga, are you kidding me? Two to 4,000. I was just thinking about this and venting out loud for my Yasuke blog. I'm like, let me go ahead and hit record because I was saying a lot of shit that I should have pressed record prior to. But anyway, just thinking about those numbers, I just thought about a quote from Sarah Seti when he was talking about like newer knowledge coming out. It's an old little video. It's like from '09 or some shit. But he's talking about like newer knowledge coming out, and as well as from younger people as well. People, you know what I'm saying? And he was like, the old shit gonna get challenged in certain perspectives of certain people at least that don't want to. You know what I'm saying? Debate and shit. He was like, it's inevitable. That shit's gonna run against that not mash, but that medley of information coming up. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so he was like, so that little so-called knowledge that they think they have, that shit is next. Again, he was talking about like cliche shit or just shit that it just you know what I'm saying, whatever. But anyway, just not impactful, etc. But anyway, I was thinking about that quote. I'm like, man, that shit, I'm attributing that to the motherfucking goddamn Mozambique slave dynamic, which is very minuscule. 2 to 4 thousand, that ain't shit. So again, that little, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, Yasuke, as far as him, it's the information that's available about dude. All right. There is some type that based on the chronology that is available. You know, he was somehow, I guess he was purchased. It's not for sure whether it's from Southern Sudan or Mozambique. A lot of people lean toward Mozambique, but based on what I read about him, if it was in Southern Sudan, it would have been of the Dinka people or whatnot. And he was a black African or a Negrition like nigga or a sub Saharan like African or somebody from the southern motherfucking portions of Africa or something. You know what I mean? A Negrito looking like person. Yes, he was that based on all descriptions of him that I'm gonna break down during the vlog. It's just like other information about the not the emperor, but the leader of the Oda clan who wanted to see him. A guy named Oda Nobunaga or whatnot. But anyway, as far as Yasuke, I forgot what the fuck I was saying. So much motherfucker. Anyway, as far as him, damn, I forgot what the fuck I was going to say. Anyway, I'll just keep going. So, oh yeah. This dude named Luis Froes. That's who I was gonna point out. And then I decided to, kind of hold back because I'm gonna talk about him during the vlog. But I'm like, fuck it, I hit record real quick. Let me go ahead and speak about him. Anyway, so dude, he was a Jesuit as well. And the actual guy that bought Yasuke, his name is Alexandro Valignano. So he was actually the head of the Jesuits. Anyway, his title was like Inspector of the Indies, which basically included India, China, Japan, and I think a couple of places in Oceania. I forget, but basically that major swap is what it included. So that was his title. So he personally had bought Yasuke, by the way. Again, going back to the origins of Yasuke as far as the chronology that is available, from the very initial start of the records, he was a like bodyguard, a protector somewhat. You know what I'm saying? Because this is what I read. The Jesuits wasn't, or the Christian missionaries, they did not carry weapons with them. They was not allowed to do so. even though they went in all kind of perilous territories and shit where wars is going on, like where the atmospherics is dangerous, and these are like foreigners visiting, so they wasn't allowed to carry weapons or whatever. So they were kind of like, you know what I'm saying? Shit, what's the word? Liable. But anyway, so he was like a bodyguard for them because of his stature. He was like 5'10". He was in his mid-20s at the time, and he was jet black or whatnot. But he had a nice muscular form or whatever. So that's his starts in the first place. Even though all like the fucking hints, not even just hints, but the majority of the information points to him being a slave, and they refer to him as such. And I think that may actually be the case, just a different type of slave. But I don't want to go into the nuances of slaves and different slaves and all that type of shit. But just to keep it simple, the fact that the guy that I mentioned, Oda Nobunaga, ended up buying or trading him, basically purchasing him from Alexandro, kind of says to me, yes, he was a slave. But, you know what I'm saying? Again, I ain't finna go into the whole nuances. But that's how he started out as a fucking bodyguard in the first place. Now, as far as his blackness, that's assured. That's not like in question. You know, it's a couple of people that I you know what I'm saying, studied and know about in history, where sometimes they, you know what I'm saying, it's not clear exactly what their ethnicity was. Like, I believe Ahmad Baba, I don't think it's no duality with him, you know what I'm saying, in question. You know what I'm saying? Not a duality of question, but I don't think his ethnicity, like he's referred to as a black African or whatnot. Now, Sunni Ali, for example, the head of the Songhai or the Askia of the Songhai Empire, there's different accounts of his ethnicity. Some say he was a black African, others say that he was a Berber. Again, even with the term Berber, just like other terms, there are nuances. For example, Leo Africanus referred to the Khafre, which is where this term kind of comes from. I believe, well, at least he's popular in using the term Khafre or Khafri. It means a black African, but a black African who is not Islamic, by the way. So they refer to them as infidels also. Again, depending on the time period, but the word Khafri or Khafre universally throughout time also still denoted a black African. Okay, that's what Yasuke was also referred to as. So again, going back to what I was saying, so like as far as Sunni Ali or whatever, there's different accounts, but even like way before him, like 800 years before him, going to like Bilal ibn Rabah, for example. All accounts of him is that he was a black African. He was an Ethiopian, but again, going back to that term that I love, Negrito or Negritian-like person, figure, or sub-Saharan-like individuals. You know what I'm saying? Those that had those arrays of phenotypes within those collective populations or demographics in terms of how those people look. The bevy, even though it's different arrangements, but there's enough of a bevy there. So like Bilal ibn Rabah, there are no contradicting accounts on how he looked. So it's the same thing with Yasuke. Yasuke was also referred to as a Khafri, as far as within that region of Africa, a Khafri. And he was referred to that personally by Louis Froise, the guy that was a fellow Jesuit that accompanied Alexandro when he went to Japan and took Yasuke there as well. He accompanied him, but that guy ended up writing like 2 letters. He wrote one that very year that they touched down in Japan in 1581, and then he wrote another one, which is more like an annual report. So the first letter was more personal, but in both letters he mentioned Yasuke. He referred to him as being a Khafri or a Khafre. Other things he mentioned as well, I'm probably going to speak on that before I hit stop on this motherfucker, because this is just a draft, obviously. But anyway, he referred to him as a Khafri, so that's not in question. question. But before I leave Bilal Ibn Rabah alone, as far as in this particular example, they kind of reminded me of each other as far as their features, because the only difference is, like, I don't think they describe the nose of Yasuke. You know what I'm saying? Bilal Ibn Rabah had a pointy nose as opposed to a flat nose, and his lips were thin. You know what I'm saying? Now, again, as far as the terms that I like to use, because I think they're accurate, like sub-Saharan, like, I use the term Negritian on my own. The actual word is Negritia or Negritia, but I think it means like sand or the Sahara Desert. You know what I'm saying? I believe so far. So I add the Negritian in there. You know what I'm saying? Because if it actually does mean sand or the Sahara Desert or whatnot, then I think the term is befitting for the point I'm making right now, as far as how people look in general, as far as certain populations. So sub-Saharan, Negritian, or Negrito-like. Again, Kafri or Kafre, or you could say people from Southern Africa, but motherfuckers get the point. Again, this is a draft, YouTube. Or at least I know what the fuck I'm trying to say. You know what I'm saying? I'm in a dark room right now. But anyway, so that's what the term Kafre or Kafri describes. It also describes a region in Africa as well, for example, but I ain't even going to go into that motherfucker not right now. So, Bilal Ibn Rabah, though some features on his face is different, there's no question about his blackness. And again, my mother, for example, has very fucking thin lips. She does not have thick lips at fucking all. Her lips are thin. Mine are thick. You know what I'm saying? And you look at my shit, it's obvious that I'm motherfucking black. You know what I'm saying? I would fit the category of that sub-Saharan-like look, or Negritian-like look, or Negrito-like look, which includes its variants as well. That's all fuck I'm trying to say. So as far as Bilal Ibn Rabah, that's not in question. Yasuke, that's the same thing. So anyway, so to go ahead and finish the story. So they went to Japan, 1581, early 1581. And as far as Alexandro, he wanted to meet with the head of the Oda clan, again, which was Oda Nobunaga or whatnot, because he wanted to ensure his mission or whatnot. So the people around, the Japanese people, they had seen and heard about this guy Yasuke. Now, based on what I read, this is the first time in all of Japanese history that they came across or seen a African. So it became something that was very exotic. So a large ass crowd ended up gathering around. And by the way, the guy that Alexandro was seeking, the head of the Oda clan, by the way, who was one of the people that ended up closely unifying Japan. I get to that eventually as well. But that guy was extremely enthused and wanted to see him as well. So in the midst of that, as far as the large crowd that gathered, to me in my mind, when I read about this, I was like, damn, people ended up, like they said, multiple people ended up getting killed due to them fighting. Not, I didn't read nothing about like a stampede that ended up killing people. No, fights happened. People were that frantic and they wanted to see this guy. And then one of the residencies that the Jesuits had set up, the door to that, whichever one it was, a door ended up getting broken or whatever, because people were trying to like not stampede, but rush in there to see the guy or whatever. Don't know if he was actually in that particular one. Not sure, but that's what happened. So the Nobunaga ended up seeing Yasuke, and he was extremely impressed with his physique and his exotic look, and he thought that Yasuke had some type of body paint on him. He did not. So again, at this part, as I'm reading about this and I'm reading the descriptions about this, Nobunaga was so impressed. That's when he offered to buy him from Alexandro, in which he did. But he did not only just buy him, he also, bought him, but he also gave him a salary and then made him a samurai and anointed him as his personal guard at the time. And it ain't even rinky dinky because it don't end up in there. I'm gonna speak about this during the blog. I ain't gonna go flesh this out too much right now. But what ended up happening the very next year, just to fast forward real quick, is that an incident that they call that's called Hino G incident. It took place the next year to where a faction basically ended up attacking Nobunaga, but it was a guy that was like the head of a clan. It was some type of clan. I forget the name of this clan. It starts with an A, I believe, if not an E. I could be. I forget the name of this clan, but the head of this clan organized this hit against him. They attacked him or whatever. They ended up failing, but the emperor still. I mean, not the emperor, but Oda Nobunaga ended up killing himself. They were already defeated in the first place. So he ended up taking his life like the suicide samurai way. The word that they call it, the technical word is called Kepputu. Kepputu. And they would stab themselves on the side and then pull the sword across their belly and take their life that way. That's what that guy ended up doing or whatnot. But as far as in that incident, Yasuke fought in the incident as well. And he got captured as well. But the people that overthrown so basically overthrew Nobunaga, they ended up giving him back to the Jesuits or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I forgot why I brought this shit up. No, I know what I brought it up. Yeah. So the thing is, once they gave him back to the Jesuits, he went back to them, and I forget where they went, but then the records of his story stops from that fucking point or whatnot. Damn, some other shit I was gonna say, I fucking forgot. But anyway, yeah. So that's just some stuff I was thinking about. I'm gonna leave it there. It's a rough drive, and it's probably way too long. 17 minutes. I'm glad I didn't cut this off. I hit pause real quick. Took a whiff of my cigarette. I know what I was going to say also. It brought me also into mind of Maurice Vidal Portman. That's one of the people that I'm going to bring up during my Negrito vlog or whatnot. But anyway, he was just basically like the head of the, he was like, okay, the Andes was a penal colony at first. He was placed there as the head there. You know what I'm saying? And there's a whole history behind that as well. I know the entire fucking history. I ain't gonna go I'm gonna keep it very simple. But as far as Maurice Vidal Portman, he ended up studying the Negrito populations there within those islands. This is when they were, I ain't saying the numbers was huge, but it was a lot more of them today. You know what I'm saying? All kind of different Negrito groups, like the Andamanese population used to live there as well. They're completely extinct. So it's other ones too, but he ended up studying them. And he ended up taking hundreds of pictures of them, etc. And it's weird because he was fascinated with their private parts as well. He would take naked pictures of the man. He would have them do all kind of poses that I've seen, and like some Greek poses in their statues, especially like when they're laying on the side or whatnot. He had them kind of like mimic some of those poses as well. He wrote about their features. Now, this is so fucking interesting to me. When I'm definitely going to bring this up during my Negrito vlog. But the features thing, it's things that you learn about. If you're a black person, you're aware of, you know what I'm saying, what they call, like, what, like the white supremacy, and then the preferential, the preference of different features, and then what you see on television throughout the centuries, different stages, etc. I mean, you know what I'm saying? But the Negrito's people that he would document and take in, because he bought some of them as well. Not just him, many other people too. But as far as him, he had a preference. He said he preferred the ones with less Negroic features. So, for example, when I was talking about Bilal ibn Rabah, for example, his face, based on the description of his face, he will fit those particular negritos that Maurice Portman and some similar to him also preferred because of their features, and they were explicit and honest and very telling about it or whatnot. So I've seen a whole bunch of the pictures because there are literally hundreds of pictures, and these are documented in books as well. So that they wrote back then. For example, Maurice Vidal Portman wrote a book that came out. Again, documented their features and had all kind of photos in there. The features that I see would be similar to, as far as the aggregate features, some of the aggregate features, it would be similar to Bilal ibn Rabah. It would be similar to what I was saying, like my mother, for example, like my lips are thick. They're big, more so, especially the bottom lip. I got wide lips too. Her shit is more thin. Actually, her shit is thin. You know what I'm saying? It's thin. It is not as wide as mine. Yet I am her son biologically. You know what I'm saying? So going back to what I was saying earlier, there are like with this collective thing as far as sub-Saharan, Negritian-like, Negrito-like, you know what I'm saying? You could go to the Caribbean, you could go to the Africa, you could say that, you could say all that, but the variants are there, you know what I'm saying? So my shit, again, why, you know what I'm saying? My bottom lip is thick as well. I like my shit. I don't have the yogi color. My color is a nice little blend, but I like my shit. But my lips are totally different from my mother's lips. You know what I'm saying? I understand, again, recombination, the motherfucking maternal and paternal, but still, the point is, my mother's lips are completely different from mine. So, but I'm black as hell and she's black as hell. There's no question to that. You know what I'm saying? So the same thing goes for what I'm trying to describe with the other shit. So as far as with Bilal ibn Rabah, for example, me bringing that up. And now going back to Maurice Vidal Portman. Okay, so when you look at those pictures, that's what you're going to see. And when you read his writings, that's what he's highlighting, the less Negroic features. Now, again, the array existed within the Negrito populations, plural, throughout Oceania, not just within the Andaman Islands as well. Why do I say that? Because what Marco Polo also wrote in his book, there's a particular passage. I read the entire passage because there's so many fucking places he talked about. Not just in Oceania, I'm talking about period. There's so many different places, so many islands. But I read the passages specifically about the Negrito people that he pointed out. And let me see, the book is older than a motherfucker too. It came out in he had it wrote in 1298 when he was locked up in prison. I forget the name of the guy who helped him with the book. So I guess he probably was scribing it for writing, whatever, however, but the guy was helping him while he was in prison. And so the next year, 1299, is when the book came out. It's called Description of the World. There's another title as well, but that's the original title of the book. Now, it was Marco Polo talking about his travels throughout, especially China, Peking, China, etc. But as far as within the Andaman Islands and all that, this is this description in the book. Now, you know some of this literature gonna have exaggerations in there, especially this part right here. He described him as black, etc., Negro, blah, blah, blah. And he pointed out the wide noses and the thick lips and shit, you know what I'm saying? But the part in the description, he also said they're cannibals, they eat each other's, and some of them have literally dog features and all kind of extra Egyptian mixed with animal ass type shit. I'm talking about wild shit that's, you know what I'm saying? That's like saying they had sharp teeth. Just when you read the motherfucker, you'll see. Just wild, obvious wild shit. You know what I'm saying? But at least he did point out some of those Negroic-like features. So the point is that existed within that population as well. So again, going back to the variants, you know what I'm saying? So, damn, I forgot what the fuck. But anyway, yeah. So that's what Maurice Vidal Portman. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna leave that alone. So I think I'm pretty sure there's some other shit I'm probably forgetting. Let me see. I'm going to take a puff of my cigarette real quick. I don't know. It don't matter because this is a rough draft. This ain't gonna be public. This is for sure not gonna be public. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm finna do my blog too fucking quick. As far as Yasuke, I don't need to make this public. But you know what I'm saying? I just say this part real quick. It's other shit, but whatever. I'm gonna say this real quick. This what the me reading about Yasuke also made me recollect on. It's this it to me, in my opinion, based on what I've seen, and there are a lot of them, but this is one of them as well. This is one of the best fucking documentaries that I've ever seen about the black diaspora and the history leading up to the present concerning the black diaspora. I seen it a long fucking time ago. Almost 20 years ago, a long time ago. It's called 500 Years Later. I had bought the DVD. This is when I had my first apartment in Harvard Village. But anyway, it's very fucking informational. It's put together very well. It's insightful and it's thought provoking and it's entertaining. It's captivating. That's what I want to say. At the same time, it's all those shits. You know what I'm saying? They have so many different perspectives, so many different places throughout the world, not just in the United States. But then in the DVD, they got the special features where they got like extra clips and you know what I'm saying, all kind of extra shit and extra like documented clips, journalistic clips. Like they had one because at the time, like it was a war going on in Sudan between the northern and the southern Sudanese. And the northern Sudanese was killing them up. Like it was an actual genocide going on, right? Based on what I read at the time. Yeah, I forget the numbers, but it was a lot of people getting their ass killed. So you'll see footage clips of them talking to some of the more northern Sudanese people. And I remember when I'm watching this clip, I'm like, damn. This is when I had this book. It was like an encyclopedia, right? Okay, basically, I'm gonna keep it simple. Simple. So I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this clip, right? And then some of the northern Sudanese, they had, you could see you could see the difference. Like they were obviously people of color, but you could see the mixture in them. You could see it. You could see like the Eastern mixture in their populations, but they were without a doubt definitely people of color. Kind of like certain like many different types of Austro, especially the remote ones, the remote Austroasiatic groups, regardless of where throughout Oceania, just to keep it simple, or certain Dravidians or whatever. Like you look at them like they're obviously people of color, but if you use that term, say like Negroic, or I like that more collective, accurate term. Again, like sub-Saharan, like Negrito, like Negrition, like etc. When you look at that, for example. You could see that the Sudanese were definitely people of color, but they weren't. How can I put it? Like there's a difference. You can see the mixture in them. You can see the Eastern mixture in them, as opposed to the more Southern Sudanese. But they was talking hella shit. You know what I'm saying? They was calling their ass ugly. They had certain words for them. You know what I'm saying? I was like, wow. You know what I'm saying? Like I was aware of that as well. But again, especially at the time, I'm like, shit, you got to include that in the motherfucking process. That's a reality there. But anyway, yeah. So that motherfucking documentary 500 years later is the shit. It's the bomb. To me, like, man, they should put that as like a part of a black curriculum, the black curriculums in school, because it keeps you. The reason why I say it's thought provoking because they hit so many different. Like it's gonna put you up to date, regardless of where you're at. It's going to expose, it's going to put your mind up to date, you know what I'm saying, where it's supposed to be at, you know what I'm saying, before you go further with your outlook, I guess, you know what I'm saying, or regardless of what direction you going in. That's a good-ass motherfucking documentary. But yeah, I'm going to bring that up during my blog as well. It's your boy JL, today the 9th, and yeah, I'm going to do my Yasuke blog, if not tonight before I fall asleep, definitely tomorrow.